Chairman, members of the Joint Committee, Elizabeth Sier on behalf of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce. I, too, like everyone else in this room, signed up on many of these bills. So I will speak to all of the bills raising the general minimum wage at the same time, if that's okay. So that's Article 20, Bill 78, 278, and 510. My testimony on this is as it has been over the last several years, frankly. So I don't think that anyone has any argument that Rhode Island's minimum wage should be something in excess of the federal minimum wage, just based on our cost of living. Our concern here is, as the Chamber, is that we've rapidly raised our minimum wage in recent years, since 2013. And there really doesn't seem to have been a whole lot of consideration as to what the appropriate number is, or percentage above the federal minimum wage that we should stay. So the concern here is this, and this gets into Bill 238 regarding a study commission. We really think that we need to be mindful and incremental in any changes that we make relative to the minimum wage, and in that we want to find out what is the correct minimum wage or percentage above the federal minimum wage for Rhode Island that will both serve workers, but also won't outstrip the business community's ability to support those wages, because we are concerned that if you surpass whatever that number, that percentage is that you will see a harm to the business climate, the business community, and possibly a harm to those workers that are seeking jobs. So we're really suggesting that we take a mindful and thoughtful approach to any further raises in the minimum wage, because we have done so many so rapidly recently, and that we want to be able to ensure that our business community is able to sustain those, especially in the light of the fact that there's many, to the Labor Committee, there's been many bills that have gone before you recently also seeking to increase other mandates or create new mandates on employers. So those all also have costs associated with them. There's no way around that. So as we continue down this path, not only are we always seeking to raise the minimum wage here at the General Assembly, but you're also looking to do things that would also raise the cost of doing business here. And we need to be very mindful that we don't outstrip our ability to sustain those. And if I may, there's only one other bill I think that I signed up to testify on, and that was relative. That's the Senate Bill 289 relative to the opportunity wage, so that the minimum wage would be 75% of the minimum wage for 15, 16-year-old kids, and we support that as a way to alleviate, again, some of the pressure that's been put on our local businesses by rapidly increasing the minimum wage. Also to alleviate some of the issues that we are seeing relative to wage compression, which is as people are coming on, they're being onboarded new employees, their wages are coming right up against those that are more experienced and that have earned a higher wage. So we think that for teenagers, that this would be a good way to allow businesses to train those people, because it's only for 90 days, so then they would join the rest of us at the standard minimum wage, but really allow a training wage for businesses to train these young people and get them onboarded as employees. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions about any of that.
Any questions for Liz? All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Elizabeth, thank you for being here. More if you can provide some, I'll say, facts and data. If I look at what's transpired between 2014 and 2015, we had a $1 increase in the minimum wage.
Right.
The 12%, let's say, thereabouts. And then we had another 7.5% or so, or 8%, going from 2015 to 2016 of 60 cents. Not today, but if you can provide back how businesses were negatively affected. So if the minimum wage didn't go up, this is the increased benefits the businesses would have seen. But because of it, it didn't have that because the minimum wage had gone up. I'd be interested in seeing that dichotomy because of or balance of return on investment kind of thing. So I'd like to see for the last two raises, when it went from 8 to 9, 9 to 960, what were the negative impacts on the businesses and how they felt those, and how it had stayed at the minimum wage before, it would have been different. So if you can provide that to the committee subsequent today, that would be great. I
will absolutely look into that for you. I do caution the committee, however, because obviously none of these things happen in a vacuum. Right? So just the federal climate, the state climate, the business climate, we've been climbing out of a recession. So as we've been raising the minimum wage, we've also been coming out of a recession. So unfortunately, there isn't, a static way to look at this, because everything's been changing around it. It's a dynamic process. But I'll be happy to speak with employers to see if there's any kind of information that I can get to relative to that point.